Hey, so this video is about optimizing an Amazon listing. We're going to start with the first step, which is the keyword research, and then go through using Helium10's tool suite, which I find to be the easiest and most effective tool for keyword research and listing optimization in the industry. Um, so we start off with the product, and this is a little bit unique because it's in the fashion category, so it's somewhat harder to do keyword research because there are so many different types of, in this particular case, of bags, but you can imagine dresses and things like this, and so many different slight variations in style, so it's hard to pick exactly the competitors which you want to target, which is not the case, let's say, with I don't know, kitchen knives. So, there are standard kitchen knife sets, and they'll be almost without exception, there will be other sellers of very similar products. So you can target those ones, and people searching for those other products will find yours as well. But at any rate, so this one way is to check the title for the main keywords. Over here, I would say maybe a crossbody shoulder handbag, something like that. I did a search for small crossbody bag for women. Okay. The other way, which I use sometimes, I actually, if this were an active listing, what I might do is I would take the ASIN here, and I'll just do an example on an active one. This is one of the competitors. I take the ASIN, which is this product identifying number up here in the URL, and I'm going to go over to the Cerebro tool, which is the reverse ASIN tool in Helium10's tool suite. And we're on Amazon.uk, so I'm going to make sure that I'm there. And I'm going to scan now for keywords. Now it's saying that that warning was that I've already done this search. Do I want to search it again? And yes, I do. So, so here it's come up with, again, this is a competitor, and this is a very similar bag, right? And that's what you want to do. You want to get, this actually looks like they're sourcing from the same manufacturer. But at any rate, you want to get as close as possible to your product and the competition, the direct competition, so that you can get the most relevant keywords that you want to target to try and beat your competitor, basically. You might find other keywords that they're not targeting, and then that would be even better because that would be an opportunity, of course, to get a part of the market that the competitor is not taking. So at any rate, so we've got 545 keywords. It's far too many to make use of. So I like to filter it out by using the organic rank filter. I'm going to put here 1 to 20. Okay, and the logic behind 1 to 20 is that the likelihood that someone is scrolling down so far on the page to find what they're looking for is low, right? Most 80% of sales come from the first page on Amazon, the first page results. And 80% of those, I think, come from the top 3 results or something like that. But at any rate, so you want to find, I want to find the keywords that this product is ranking for in the top 20. And that will be a good indicator of which keywords I want to target, because I'd like to rank there also, right? To get a part of that, the majority of the share of the market. At any rate, and then I'm going to put organic, right? I want to find the organic. So I'll hit apply and see. The word count is, the default is 2, because usually one word keywords are not specific enough to target. So now we've still got 124 keywords, which is quite a lot. So what we could do is start using the search volume filter, which makes sense sometimes because if the search volume is 5 people a month, so again, logically, you can guess that not many people they're not making many sales with that keyword. Let's just take a look here at the search volume, how high the search volume goes, and then we can make it. So this crossbody bag search volume, of course, is 2,000, much higher than all these other ones, but they're still there. You see they're in the 700, 500, okay, and it goes way down here into the hundreds. Now this is Amazon UK as well. I think if we would search on Amazon.com, you'd find the numbers being a lot higher. But so we could probably filter this down There's 30 keywords. Let's see. Let's filter it down to, I don't know, minimum search volume of 50. 50 people searching every month. We'll see, this will cut it in half. Yeah, 61 keywords, which is still a lot. It's probably more than you need. A lot of times you can get it down to, 30 keywords or something, and those are going to be, but you can still use this list and pick out the ones you want to target, right? It's not, you don't need the list to be so short to work with it. But over here, the Cerebro IQ score is just a ratio between the search volume and the number of competing products. In your niche, when you're doing this, if you would find a keyword phrase which has a high Cerebro IQ score, meaning, and it's relevant to your product, meaning imagine if this was a search volume of 2,000, but it only had 100 competing products, that would be amazing, right? Because that's a huge search volume for a low amount of competition, and you'd want to definitely target that word. Here, the Cerebro IQ score is all very low because there are so many products competing for these very large keywords. You can imagine women's shoulder bags, very generic. I mean, there's probably 1,000 different types and styles, right? So there's so many products that will be relevant. But let's just see, for example, what would get a high Cerebro score for this. Lorenz. Okay, so that's the brand, right? Of course, there's not so many competing products. There are some competing products because there are other companies. First of all, their own company could probably be competing for that keyword on other bags, and also competitors which are ranking for their keywords. What we could do is just remove these manually, or if you extend to the advanced filters, you can go to exclude phrases that contain Lorenz, and then we'll apply the filter again. So it filtered out a few results for us. Okay, so again, here there's just, due to the nature of these words, there's not a high Cerebro IQ score. It means there's a lot of competition for these words. But this one has the lowest competing products. This one crossed the body bags for women. It's got a low search volume. However, it might be very specific. This one, small crossbody bag for women, I think is very specific. It's got a high enough search volume for us to want to target it. And remember, this is just, we've taken one ASIN and done a verse, so we could target just these keywords. But what I like to do is I'll open this up in a search, okay? And this is what I've done here. And then I'll use either the Helium10 X-ray tool, which pulls out the data from the search result, and you can then find out which are the top sellers from this search results. I don't look at the sponsored ads. I just want to find out the organic top sellers. So I'm looking over here at sales. This one, let's see if it's relevant. So these are all in this case, these are nylon. So I'd probably try to look around to see if I could find something that's both selling well and is made out of leather, because that's the type of bag that we have. In this search, I happen to use the filters also. I put a black filter on, and if they would have the material filter like leather, I would do that also, because I want to find the closest possible products to my product so that I can target the appropriate keywords, how customers are getting to these bags, how are customers searching in Amazon and buying leather one-strap bags, shoulder bags. So I opened up a bunch of these which were relevant, what I thought was relevant. Maybe some of the ladies that will be watching this are laughing at me, but at any rate, I think I did pretty good. Let's just, now I can pull up the history because I did this search before. I can just pull up with this tool. I can do the multi-search history here. And these are all those ASINs that I pulled up. Okay, same idea. I have my filters on, my advanced filters. Over here, I put for my advanced filter, competitor average rank of 30. Okay, so I did it a little bit higher. Sometimes I'll even put 50 or 100 here sometimes, because you imagine if even one of the competitors isn't ranking well for a good keyword phrase, so the average competitor rank will be very high, even though that is a phrase that you do want to target. So at any rate, so now I've got my targeted list, and I simply export this to what they call the Frankentstein tool. And this tool gives you an option to, for lack of a better word, manipulate the keywords in different, all kinds of different ways. The simple ways to do it is just to sort it by phrase. Okay, it removes any duplicates that you have here, and I'm going to export it again to their tool, which they call Scribbles. And Scribbles is great. One step, these are all the phrases, you'll see what I'll do in a second, but so if I would just put apply here, so what happens is the words in red are the highest search volume, and then the orange, etc., and green and blue, okay, it goes down. So these phrases in red we want to make sure are in our listing. And as we type in here, small cross body bag, then it crosses it off the list. Makes it incredibly easy to keep track of which keywords you've used, which ones you want to use, etc. Okay, so that's basically the simple process, very quick process of doing keyword research to create a listing. A lot of times you'll have to do more in-depth research, or you might have to play with the filters. So for some popular products, especially on Amazon.com, you can get literally 5,000, 8,000 different keywords that you have to filter through. Not all of them are relevant. There's different ways that Amazon's algorithm ranks products for keywords. Sometimes keywords you think are completely irrelevant. It depends how customers are getting to that product. So, but there is that stage, the keyword research, sorry. And then there's the stage right here where we go through and we optimize a listing, which means making use of the space that Amazon gives you to sell the product to your customer. Now, each of these fields has a certain amount of characters, that character limit. The standard is 200. Some categories have 80 character limits, like in much of the fashion category has an 80 character limit. In Amazon UK, with this particular bag listing that we're using as an example, the character limit is 150. So we're going to have to keep track. What's great about also this tool is that, and of course I'm going to capitalize all this after, but just for example, okay, and as we type, you see that the amount of characters is being kept track of over here. So I know not to go over the limit, and I can mess around with this. If I want to type in all in small caps, but then since I'm working with title, I want all of the first letters to be capitalized, so I could just click there. It's a fantastic tool. Same thing with the bullet points. The standard, you actually have 500 characters to use in the bullet points. I try to keep my bullet points around 250 characters, give or take. I think more than that, it starts to look overwhelming to the customer. It's not pleasing to the eye. Less than that could look sparse, but it really depends on the product. Sometimes there's just not a lot to say, especially if it's more technical, or where there's not a lot of sales copy that needs to be written. But the same principle applies, that you're trying to weave in creatively the keywords and phrases into your listing. The most important part of the listing is the title for keywords. The second most important is the bullet points, and then finally the description, which is debatable at all how important it is for keywords. But another aspect of Amazon writing, when you're writing a listing, so keyword stuffing is completely unnecessary and potentially detrimental. So you want to really avoid that. This particular listing with the bag, for example, in the title, the client has requested that we do not repeat words or even use synonyms. So, for example, a purse and a handbag is a synonym. They do not want us to repeat that word. In a regular case, that's I would do that. I usually do that actually as the part of the structure of my listing. Um, I'll show you actually just a template, a general template that I have in my head. I don't actually refer to this template while I'm writing listings, but it's generally what I try to follow. So I put in the main keyword phrase that you want to target right at the beginning of the title. Sometimes I'll put the brand first, but it really depends on the type of product. And then I'll use a variation of the main keyword or product title. Like, for example, I would then use, in this case, if I use that first crossbody bag, then in the second part I might say handbag or I might say purse. And then, but to make it flow, I would then add a detail about the package, or perhaps a detail about the product, or a package quantity, or some other detail to make the title flow. Then I could add, these little dashes and put in the size. And then on the end, I try to, again, use a variation of the keyword of something to identify the product, and I try to sell the customer a little bit. This is perfect for, or this is great for. I do stay away from the word perfect. It's very cliche, right? Perfect for this, but at any rate, this is part of the finesse of writing. Here I wrote an example. Cute baby milestone blanket. Cuddly baby photography mat. So this photography mat is a variation of milestone blanket, because you use the milestone blanket for a photography mat, right? Then I put the size, and then I again used a different term or variation, a keyword that refers to the product. It's a large blanket for babies. So the word blanket is repeated, but now I'm describing it differently. It's a blanket for babies. That's a phrase. That's one of the keyword phrases in this case. From 0 to 3 years, right? It's a large blanket for babies from 0 to 3 years. I'm not just keyword stuffing. I'm referring to the product, but I'm giving more information about the product. I'm building out the knowledge that the customer has now about the product. And then I added on, great for photography, props, playtime, and picnics. Okay, the bullet points. This is my own formula that I created. I think it's very effective. I try, at least in the first bullet point, sometimes I do this in the first 2 bullet points. I'm focusing, I want the customer to live out their dream or to achieve the desire, the solution. I don't say this will solve your problem. I try to already take them into take them into the world of the solution. So in other words, capture your unforgettable memories while your baby grows. This is a little bit on the borderline, right? Because you're telling them that they could do this, right? So it's kind of like penultimate. But you'll never forget the most adorable moments of your baby's life. That is the result. That's what the people want. Why are they buying this type of milestone blanket? They want to take pictures of their baby, and they want to have these pictures and as a memorabilia, or whatever you call it, and to be able to look back and really cherish those moments. So that's what you're appealing to. That's why I'm buying the blanket, and that's what I'm telling the customer. Our blanket will do this for you. You live that. You'll never forget. I mean, that's amazing, right? So I'm not saying with our blanket you will never forget. I'm just saying you'll never forget. I'm going right into that image and the world of that solution. The next one is I will try then the next 2 bullet points. And again, I sometimes, if they're in certain cases, I will do 2 live the dream type bullet points. But at any rate, another so important procedure. What's this baby blanket like? Well, it's super soft, snuggly, warm, and comfortable. I'm using in the very beginning of every bullet point, I like to capitalize so that imagine if you were skimming Amazon on your phone or even on your browser, and you just the first words of the bullet points are capitalized like this, so it stands out, and they can, the eye, even the juxtaposition of these capitals next to this regular text, your eyes just go right to the capitals and they read that first sentence. Sorry, they read that first sentence, and you can speak to the customer with, in just point form. So super soft, snuggly, warm, and comfortable, beautiful, right? These are product features that the customer wants and that will entice. I want to try to bring out why should the customer want this product? Well, this is what you're looking for in a baby blanket. Important feature number 2, third bullet point, right? It's now, what does it do? Well, this one's suitable for babies and toddlers, great for photography and playtime. These really could be broken up into 2 bullet points. Suitable for babies and toddlers, that's who it's for. Great for photography and playtime is what does it do, or what is it for? And sometimes I like to combine those ideas, but the point here is, and again, another feature or benefit of the blanket, and I might use different language, suitable for babies and toddlers. I might say it's versatile, and so on and so forth. So then we've got the 4th and 5th bullet points. There's a bunch of ideas that you can do. You can talk about the quality, the high quality fabric material, meaning when I say that fabric material, I would say if this is particular, let's say it was cotton, high quality cotton or hand woven cotton or whatever you want to talk about, with reinforced seams. You're showing what about it is the quality. You don't say high quality, right? That's so cliche, and of course everyone says that. But what about the product is high quality? Well, it's hand woven cotton, or it's organic cotton. It's very lush organic cotton with reinforced seams, double stitched, using some stitching method or whatever. If you have a poor quality product, you don't want to talk about the quality. Maybe you want to talk about, why do you think people, if you are creating a poor quality product and selling it on Amazon, so you better have a good reason why they would want a poor quality product. Maybe it's just really useful, or maybe it's disposable. So if it's disposable, or if it's maybe it's a great value for your money because you're only going to need it a few times or whatever. So that's now some other, that would be the 4th bullet point. Now a few other ideas you want to talk about. If there's an important size information or function information, depending, sometimes in fashion especially, you want to put the sizing up maybe in the first 3 bullet points so that the customer knows that right away. And a lot of times that's what they're searching for. So you don't want them to have to scroll down, and they might lose it, or when they scroll down to see the product description and find out the sizing information, so Amazon shows them all kinds of other competing products, and then you've lost them, because maybe your competitors have a nicer picture or whatever it is. So that would, or function information, especially if you have a technical product and you need them to know, it's compatible with the XYZ product, or it's, batteries included. I don't know if that would be a good thing to put, use up a bullet point for that, but you get the idea. And then for the 5th bullet point, you could also do a satisfaction guarantee. I look, and I put it over here, I put satisfaction guarantee as almost a last resort when there's nothing left to say about the product. I mean, we've sold it, we talked about the quality, and it's great, and you'll live your dream life, and what else can you say about it? Last resort, if you've got writer's block, so you can go into the satisfaction guarantee. Or if the client is asking you to do that, so then that would be the reasons I would use the satisfaction guarantee as a bullet point. Another possibility for a bullet is use cases. It's great for example, with this blanket. I put already suitable for babies and toddlers, but maybe this blanket could also be used as a swaddle. It could be used as a I don't know, a stroller, a padding, a blanket. I don't know, other uses, or sometimes, when you, let's say, a certain decoration, you're like, great for birthday parties, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, and you get a whole bunch of keywords in there, and just kind of there it is, a little bit of keyword stuffing, but you're trying to touch on showing the customer the information that you're giving the customer is that it's relevant to all these different holidays, and you wanted a great birthday decoration kit. Well, this is it, but another customer is looking for the Valentine's. Well, guess what? It's red and pink, so it will work for Valentine's also. Then another idea, what's included. So this is especially important if there is a multi-pack or different elements to the product, that especially when it's differentiating you from the competition, you want to mention this in your bullet points, that this package includes, and there's different language. What I like to do is refer to the benefit, the result of the fact that it does include accessories 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What does it mean that you'll have accessories 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Well, like here in the example I'm showing on the screen, everything you need in one set. You could do, like, if it's a party set, something like set up your whole party and easily, or the quickest full party set in one bag, or you don't, one stop shop or something like this. The idea, get to the idea behind the fact that everything's included. What does it mean that everything's included? Well, it'll be easy, and you only have to buy one product. You'll save money, you'll save time. But if you have writer's block, or you can't think of something like that, so just say, this package includes, and the customer will be interested to know what's included. The last idea, this is somewhat rare, but definitely relevant if, for example, with this bag example I started the video with, washing or care instructions. This is sometimes technical information I would put in the product description, but it can also be used as a feature or a sales point. For example, if it's easy to care for, or if it's easy to wash, or if it will be, this might even be part of its durability. It could be, this can be machine washed, and it won't fade, the color won't fade, or something like that. So I've put here as an example, easy to clean and care for. Again, I did, this one's less, I would say this is less common to use that. So those are ideas for bullet points. Obviously, there's many more infinite possibilities, because we're all creative copywriters and we think of interesting things to say. The overarching rule is to imagine yourself standing in the store, in this case in the department store, the fashion store, where the lady is buying her shoulder bag, and you've got to convince her to buy yours and not the competitor. What are you going to say? Look, first of all, ours is real leather. Secondly, feel how soft it is. So they can't feel how soft it is when they're shopping on Amazon, but you've got to explain to them, or use language which will make them understand. This is so soft. You wouldn't say this, I don't think, on an Amazon listing, but it's as soft as a baby's bottom. What else would you say about it to the person? No, don't get the other one. Ours is a true deep black. Talk about the color. You can talk about, and by just simply imagining yourself in that store setting, actually talking to someone, you will get many ideas and ways of talking about the product, which will be effective sales. Will be enticing, and hopefully influence the customer to buy. So for the description, I first start off by repeating the title of the product. There's two options here. You can go to one idea that's very popular, is to go right to the features, and you do a recap basically of your bullet points in a point form. And you see on mobile, you see the product description first, actually, And if you do a feature, point form features, so that's what will show up. And then, there's the button that says see more, and then you'll see the rest of the product description. So if you put the product features at the top of the product description, they're likely to see that right away. So that would be, that's one way of doing it. I like also to put a paragraph a lot of times about the company. I will use, either I'll talk about the product again, why the product is great in more of a longer sentence form. Sometimes I'll talk about the company. You could do one of those, imagining that the company is like this small little startup pop-up enterprise. We wanted to help people, so we developed this product. That type of style won't really work with a purse, right? Like, we were looking out into the world and trying to find something that people needed. It's not even believable, right? So obviously use that one with care. But so I do a little paragraph about the company or product, and perhaps I would talk about, we've sourced the finest leather, we've hired the best craftsmen, and using the best machinery to manufacture this purse. And then I would go into the features, right? I would do either of those, vice versa. And is in the features of the product, and this area is another place where you can kind of squeeze in some more keyword phrases. It's kind of just like a bonus, like, maybe there's some words that you do want to rank for, so you put them there. Again, it's not the most important part of the listing, but it certainly does have an effect in the fact that you will be indexed for a word that is in your description. The end, I always do an either our promise or our commitment, or here is where I would say satisfaction guarantee, something like that, at the very end of the listing. And what you're trying to do is be proactive. I don't know if anyone will see this far into your product description, and hopefully they've already made the decision to buy. But at the end, you're trying to say, look, if there's any issues, we're here and we're going to help you. So just contact us. In other words, don't leave a bad review or a negative feedback to Amazon. Contact us first and we'll help you out. So that is listing optimization. And then I deliver it in a handy Google Doc here. I usually download it and deliver it to the customer, to the client in a Word file. But here it is in Google Doc form. The title, bullet points, description, and actually you convert that description into HTML. You can do that using a tool called Seller App. It's a free tool, product description editor. You just cut and paste the description of the product into the Seller App tool. This one made it all bold for some reason, so I'll just unbold it, and then I'll go through and I do highlight with bold. Sometimes I highlight the company, the title here, product features. I'll put that in bold. These bullet points here are not actually bullet points from the text version, so I'm just going to take out these things, but then I'm going to make it into bullet points with the HTML. Fantastic. And I'll highlight this. So now you've got HTML. And I just go back and copy, paste that over here. If you're curious of how that looks, so here I just pasted the HTML into this editor, and this is what it will look like on your Amazon page. So that's the HTML. The other last part to this are the search terms and subject matter. That's something that we do after the fact. If we could just load up a listing that we've done already. For example, over here. So the search terms are the last part, and whatever terms have not been used here at the side, so I'll put them in the search terms. There's no need to repeat any words. And I go on like that, and in this case I might even go back to the keyword research stage and just add in, make a longer list of keywords that I'm going to filter through, and then so that I can have more search terms. It certainly doesn't, you have 250 249 characters in the search terms field. So the more you add in, the better if they are relevant search terms. There's another, the last thing is called subject matter, and subject matter is based on the idea of many experienced Amazon sellers have seen results by, in the back end of Amazon and Seller Central, there's fields, 5 fields usually, called subject matter, and Amazon gives you default suggestions like subject matter autumn, spring, Mother's Day, and they're usually completely irrelevant, not and not related to the product that you're to the product listing. But you can use, and here you do use like keyword stuffing. You basically just write in all the popular keyword phrases, and you've got 50 characters. So you write a bunch of them, in this case, small handbag, and it crosses it off the list. And I just go through, and even if I've already used them, I'll do them again in these subject matter fields, and then I add them here to the end of the doc. And that's what I deliver to the customer. I hope this was informative and slightly entertaining. And if there's any questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to clarify.